where news comes first. This is WECT's Carolina in the Morning, streaming live on WECT.com and the WECT News app.
Good morning and thanks so much for joining us. I'm Kim Ratcliffe.
And I'm a googly-eyed Bill Murray this morning. Thanks for being with us on a Monday. Hey, getting students back to Pender County schools, really a big step. The Board of Education approving the last contracts for mold cleanup. These photos posted by the school system on their Facebook page. Obviously, we're not seeing those right now. This is video of the debris that you're going to be able to move locally in just a moment. We'll talk about that. But back to Pender County schools, because of the lack of money, it has taken a while to get the schools back open. The county has dipped into its reserve, applied for state lottery money, and has worked with FEMA to help with the cost. The superintendent will meet with contractors this week to see if it's feasible now to reopen schools finally by Friday or next Monday. Students who used to call the university apartments home are now bunking somewhere else. 400 displaced UNCW students have been assigned to hotels, off-campus apartments, on-campus space. You know, school officials are even converting some lounges into student rooms. Now, students have the option to cancel their housing contract if they find housing on their own, and they will get a prorated refund. They've got until next week to move their things out. The university apartments are closed indefinitely because of Hurricane Florence damage.
All right, for those of you just tired of seeing all that debris in your yard, there are some sites where you can drop it off. One of them in New Hanover County is at Veterans Park. A second one is at Ogden Park, and those sites will be open until 5 o'clock Saturday. You can still leave your debris at the curb if you prefer, but you're being asked to keep demolition and vegetative debris piles separate. Some drop-off sites in Pender County as well for people living in gated communities and on dirt roads because the trucks can't go down those. Those drop-off sites are located at 8022 Highway 210 in Rocky Point next to the Desperado Horse Farm. And you can only drop off vegetative debris here, and you have to bring an ID. This site's open from 8 a.m. until 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday.
At 6:32, we'll get a first look at your first alert forecast in this half hour of Carolina in the Morning, starting with a nod to temperatures. These are pretty big compared to the weekend morning. 60s and 70s on the table. This is 5 to 15 locally in the case of North Myrtle Beach. 18 degrees warmer than 24 hours ago. In Wilmington, the 70-degree temperature official at the airport is a full 12 warmer than this very moment yesterday. Our radar scan, pretty clean, not completely clean. Some sprinkles and showers, still having some staying power around Myrtle. And that's akin to a stray shower chance for today. We'll keep it in the 10% category, though. Partly cloudy, the top headliner, and with breezes having been and they'll likely continue to be operating from the south, light speeds, 5-10 miles an hour, but southerly winds. We're going to take a step toward warmer 80s this afternoon. Your forecast for tonight and into tomorrow is, again, mild to warm, but a front will knock our numbers back to finish the week. Another shot of fall in your 7-day planning forecast. That's coming up.
All right, today, if you're wanting to explore downtown, you know what? There's a new route on the wave trolley system you can take. It passed the test. Now ready to help boost the downtown economy as it expands out. Bob Bonner joining us now from the digital studio to take us along that new route and show us exactly where it's going to go after testing a pilot program back in September. Bob?
Yeah, Bill, just as you point out, that was a move that they brought up last month, or October, November. Yeah, September, they did it last month, just kind of leading up to what the changes are that go into effect today. So if you go to our website, WECT.com, or if you're on the mobile app, you'll see a story, Free Downtown Trolley Updates Routes for October. And that's where it gives you the breakdown of these routes, which, again, one of the bigger things about the trolley system that a lot of people might not even understand is this is a free service that will take you around downtown. The easiest way to look at what these new routes that are available as of today are right at the beginning of the story. So the new routes are going to continue service for the Brooklyn Arts District, the Central Downtown Business District, Castle Street Arts, as well as the Antique District and South Front District. So those are the ones that are added to this list that you see right here. This will give you a breakdown of each and every stop location, the time, the estimated time points for them to pick up and drop off at these locations. It's a great service to utilize if you're in the downtown area, if you don't want to rely on taking the bus to get around or, a cab or Uber. You just want to take a nice leisurely ride that, again, doesn't cost you a dime to get on. So there was a survey and a group that was put together in September to see what specific areas of downtown maybe needed a service and others that where they saw a service was starting to decline. So they pulled that information, shored up some of the routes that weren't seeing as many folks on the trolley and adding those to different areas where the demand seemed to be a little bit higher. So this morning, those new routes will go into effect, start running at 8:30 this morning. So if you're in the downtown area and you want just a different way to get around, maybe explore the downtown, free. New trolley hitting 4 different stops as of this morning, guys.
All right, Bob, thank you very much. Again, keep in mind, though, it doesn't stop where it used to, and it only stops every 40 minutes. So if you're...
to wait a little bit longer?
You have to wait a little bit longer, but it also opens up that whole south end of town now.
Yeah.
With the South Front Street Apartments, Benny's Pizza down there, which is just an exploding place, Satellite Bar, so you can park downtown now, where there's ample parking, and then come out that way and not have to worry about, oh, where are we going to find a place to park? Hey, new this morning, the co-owner of downtown Wilmington's Serpentarium, who was accused of murdering her own husband, ruled not guilty by reason of insanity. Regina Ripa was accused of killing her husband, Larry Dean, at the Serpentarium back in May of last year. The Serpentarium announced it would close permanently this past May.
All right, we're at 6:36, and we're going to take a quick look at traffic conditions for you here at Carolina Beach Road and Shipyard Boulevard. Very busy, which is normal this morning, so don't worry about that. And so far, no reports of any accidents or scheduled bridge openings. A picture that has gone viral. Officials releasing a photo of Nathaniel Green statue with googly eyes. Now police in Savannah involved as they search for whoever did that. Raycom reporter Crystal Howard spoke with locals and tourists to get some reaction on this googly-eyed vandal.
These are the types of eyes that the city of Savannah says the googly-eyed bandit put on this Nathaniel Green statue. Now, it's all a mystery, but they say they're determined to find out who thinks it's funny to vandalize a historic monument.
They were a little extra, like they climbed the fence, went through the bushes just for a pair of googly eyes.
The city of Savannah put this post on Facebook on Thursday. Looking for the googly-eyed bandit. They say this is no laughing matter.
I don't know who they were trying to get to laugh, but I mean, it worked, obviously, because I laughed.
But locals and tourists say they don't think it's that serious, and they are just plastic eyes that can be popped off.
It was just all in jest. I don't know if someone needs to get into so much trouble for that sort of thing, especially Savannah has the ghost stories, and it's Halloween, and it's just kind of like the air of the town. So.
And the city of Savannah said on their Facebook post, this may look funny, but harming our historic monuments and public property is no laughing matter. In fact, it's a crime.
If wind and rain and hurricanes can't damage the statue, I don't think a pair of googly eyes is going to damage it either. But I mean, that's just me. So they act like bugs don't fly into it. It's about the same thing.
And they told me today that they have filed a police report. Right now, they have made no arrests and have not identified any suspects. But whomever it may be has made their rounds around Savannah, adding an extra set of eyes to billboards as well.
You know, do you, boo? You're like on the borderline of like harmful versus criminal.
Now, whoever put the googly eyes on the statue, the city of Savannah and Savannah police are looking for you.
Tonight at 6, $13 million of your tax dollars wasted by the ABC Commission, according to the North Carolina State Auditor. Now a group of elected leaders are pushing to privatize liquor sales. We'll explore the pros and cons of privatizing sales in our special report, Broken Blue Laws. That's tonight on WECT News at 6. Online right now, you can find more information on all of these stories, including the update to UNCW housing and the latest on when Pender County students might be able to go back to school. You'll also find a link to watch our newscasts while you're on the go this morning.
First Alert Traffic is sponsored by Andrews Mortuary and Crematory. Join the Andrews family this October as we wear pink for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Until there's a cure, there is hope. Know what's happening now from your neighborhood to our world. Between the newscast, watch WECT News Now live weekdays at 11 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. on WECT.com, Roku, and Amazon Fire. This is Chief Meteorologist Gannon Medwick with your First Alert weather.
6:44 Monday morning. I hope you and yours had a fantastic and fallish weekend. Finally, those temperatures, humidity levels dropped off. They're back up early this week, but they'll drop off again. Another couple of shots of autumnal weather coming in your 7-day forecast. That's coming up. Radar here across the eastern Carolinas, a blip or two. North and west of the Carolinas, showers, a little more effort out of them ahead of our next cold front. That's going to take warm temperatures today, replace them by later parts of this week with some cooler temperatures. Hey, Jenny, good to see you this morning. CJ, thanks for Jenny's photo. Your dog walking forecast brought to you by Jenny. We'll activate the paw and the forecast there for 60s and 70s. Yeah, 50s pretty much off the table this morning. We felt them yesterday at this time, Saturday morning at this time. Southerly breezes bolstering our temperatures and humidity levels. Feel that this morning and through the day. Forecast engineered for your school day. Make it a great day. It's A territory weather grade. Just an outside chance of a shower with those moisture supplies coming up. Hey, temperatures coming up too. 60s and 70s having a pretty short shelf life this morning as we get into lunchtime, recess, drop-off time this afternoon. More 80s than anything else. Let's talk tropics where we've no active tropical storms or hurricanes anywhere in the Atlantic basin. That's worth saying from the jump. But we do have a feature in the Caribbean, not far from actually where Michael was born. Another cluster of thunderstorms here with a broad area of low pressure. It's actually drifting west over the next 2 to 5 days. Our National Hurricane Center gauging odds for this to develop at low to medium, like 30%. So we'll watch it. No imminent threats to the Carolinas, and that feels great to say after a season that brought us Florence. And then, of course, last week we were gearing up for, at least in tropical storm form, Michael. Nadine was on the scene deep in the Atlantic. The next names on the list, Oscar, Patty, and Raphael. Of course, no telling whether we get there or not. We are now at the 3/4 pull for the hurricane season. So October 15, there's about 6 weeks left. Hurricane season goes to November 30th. Now, statistically, it becomes very rare for hurricanes to come directly out of the Atlantic and hit the East Coast after October 15th. But of course, it does happen. Hazel was October 15th, and of course Sandy a few years ago was a late October East Coast landfall. So the point being, we never take our eyes off the ball, but we are getting deeper into hurricane season. It's almost over. Let's get you to the beach here. Great photo from Vanita Jenkins of a low tide sand pattern. I think that's pretty cool. Hope you do as well. And that deserves this, doesn't it? A live look at the beach as skies brighten. From the Holiday Inn and our North Motors First Alert Sky Cam from Wrightsville Beach. Johnny Mercer's Pier looking good this morning. Hope your forecast is looking good to you. If you're a warm weather fan, you're racking up the W's in the short term. But if you're a cool weather fan, you get the last word here late this week and also over the course of the weekend. So fall weather making another comeback or two, Gabe. And I know you're across the studio getting ready to talk about the colors of this season. What's up with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Now that we've had our first real fall-like weekend, the big question is when are we going to start to see the changes in the leaves? Well, it's been a little delayed given the warm temperatures we've seen thus far. Other factors you want to consider too, elevation, sun exposure, soil, lots of those types of things. But this is where we're at currently. Some spots in extreme western North Carolina at or near peak, and it's those higher elevations. We're talking 5,000 feet and up. So that includes much of extreme western North Carolina. Now we get you to late October, maybe a week or two going by here. Elevations about 1,000 to 3,000 feet and up at or near peak. That's going to include the mountains, the Piedmont, the Triad, a lot of those folks there. Fast forward to early November, so another week or two down the mix. A lot of spots 1,000 feet and below now at or near peak. So that's going to include the intercoastal plains and even parts of southeastern North Carolina getting some patchy, if not near peak colors. And then by mid-November, everyone's kind of in that boat of at least being at or near peak. Only a few spots and likely the extreme coastal zones may be a little susceptible to being more near peak than at peak. So again, not an exact science when it comes to this, because again, that forecast subject to change given the amount of warm weather we've seen, but especially spots up in the mountains that have seen those cool temperatures a little more consistently. That's where we're going to start to see some of the changes in the colors. But for us, Bill and Kim, we're just going to have to wait a little while longer. In fact, you may remember some of those trees outside actually blooming once again. As Jesslyn's told you earlier, more of a defense mechanism. But the good news, once we get through fall, those trees still likely to bloom once again. Back to you.
All right, Gabe, thanks very much.
Hi, good morning. I'm Jeff Rawson. Coming up this morning on Today, an all-new Rawson Reports. And you can see we're in a pretty bad house fire here. We are burning a house down to show you a very simple tip that will give your family extra time to escape. It literally will take you 1 second right before bed, and you can avoid actual death. I mean, you're going to see this all play out right in front of you. It's the difference between keeping your bedroom door open and keeping your bedroom door closed while you sleep. We're going to have a side-by-side, keeping a bedroom door open and closed, cameras everywhere, lighting up a house, and you are going to see the difference. It is astonishing. This one's a lifesaver. Grab the family around the TV this morning right here on Today.
First Alert Traffic is sponsored by Andrews Mortuary and Crematory. Join the Andrews family this October as we wear pink for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Until there's a cure, there is hope.
Oh, taking a live look at Market and Eastwood this morning. There you go. Traffic moving in both directions. Obviously, very little volume right now. All around the region, Gabby Williams just popped in. Little under the weather, just to let us know that she made those beat calls. Checking social media, things look pretty good right now, and no scheduled bridge openings as well. Kim, we'll toss it back to you.
All right, a look at your top stories of the morning. The Barbie Bridge closing this morning won't just impact traffic. Because of the closing, the Dozier Medical Plaza has moved some of its labs to other locations. Dozier Medical Urgent Care will be open at the plaza. The bridge will be closed until April of 2019. Pender County Schools receiving a little under $1.5 million to clean up mold inside its buildings. The last of the contracts approved during an emergency meeting over the weekend of the school board. Now the superintendent will meet with contractors this week to see if they can possibly get those schools reopened by the 22nd. $800 million from the state's rainy day fund could be going to support Hurricane Florence relief efforts across the state. The General Assembly expected to approve the money when it reconvenes today. The state approved $200 million after Hurricane Matthew. All right, checking in with Bill right now for some of the national stories this morning.
Yeah, we're talking about Hurricane Michael. The president will see the damage from that storm firsthand today. He and the First Lady scheduled to tour areas of Florida and Georgia. Nearly 500,000 people are without power in those states, along with some in Virginia and right here in the Carolinas. Could be months before the power is restored to some parts of the Florida Panhandle. The president has warned of severe punishment if Saudi Arabia has anything to do with Jamal Khashoggi's death. The Washington Post writer disappeared earlier this month while entering the Saudi consulate in Turkey. Officials believe Saudi Arabia had something to do with his killing, but the company's denied it all along. And dozens of people injured after a bus and car collide on a busy freeway in California. This started a chain reaction crash. 40 people evaluated for injuries, 24 transported to local hospitals. 5 people this morning listed in serious condition.
Let's get a last look at your First Alert forecast in this half hour of Carolina in the Morning anyway. We'll be on Fox Wilmington, WECT News side on Fox Wilmington momentarily. Checking out some big numbers, especially in the temperature column for your forecast for today. That's owing to sun intervals and south breezes, warmer than the weekend past. An opportunity for a passing sprinkle or shower is there just about any place, anytime, but the vast majority of times and places ought to be dry. Clicking down to 66 at the airport after having been at 70 last hour. 63, your step outside temperature in Elizabethtown and Kenansville, Lumberton, all alike. But one thing I'm not seeing, and you're not seeing either, is 50s. We had those on the board at this time yesterday and also Saturday morning. From the Brunswick Islands back to the Grand Strand, well into the 70s this morning. Visibility is looking good. Not much fog, not much rain to compromise that as you get going this morning. Average high for today, 76. The record is 88. We'll actually be a little closer to the record than average. Yeah, step back towards summer, but fall says, I'm coming back. Thursday, Friday, and then again over the weekend, a couple of shots of fall are in view.
If we could just bottle up last Saturday for the rest of them. What a great day that was, huh?
It was your birthday.
It was. Thank you for
Pull
that,
some
by the way.
strings?
Yeah, exactly.
That's perfect.
Thanks for watching this morning.
We're going to head over to our sister station, Fox Wilmington, now, so you can follow us there for more local news and weather.
Have a good day.